as Jordan with Status Coup here in Akron. We're here in a little community of houseless individuals. Your name is Pandora,
Yes.
and you've been born and raised in Akron.
Yes.
And when I asked you how long you've been here, you said too long. Can you
Yes.
kind of share, what led to you being houseless?
For us, it was a situation of my husband's inheritance was basically ripped out from underneath him. He worked hard his whole life, and the inheritance that was supposed to be his was our home. And his sister changed paperwork to make it to where she could sell the home out from underneath him, and he was left with nothing, while they gained monetarily a great deal. And still now, there was no help given by his family. So that put us out here. He has had several knee replacement surgeries. He is walking around on a broken foot now and has for 2 years because he simply doesn't have a place to heal after his surgery.
And he had surgery, but obviously being out here, he doesn't have insurance to go get care.
The state gives everybody insurance now.
Mhm.
It's mandatory. But even with that, where's he going to heal?
Yeah.
You know? In the lean-to? In the tent?
Right.
I recently got an infection. I had staph. And I still have 39 staples in my spine where infection had formed 2 sacs on my spine.
It's really hard to heal with anything like that when you're out here.
It is. And now it seems like Akron is hunting its own homeless. It doesn't matter where we go. If we put up a tent, they're there tearing it down. The little bit of personal belongings and memories that we had, Akron has bulldozed over. They look at us as the scourge of society. They don't see us as people. They see us as a problem. And I say the problem is Akron. There's hundreds of abandoned buildings here. They could put together something to at least house us. We don't ask for much. Food, stuff like that. We have several people that come in and donate bagged lunches, hot meals. There's food banks. We know how to take care of ourselves. We don't have a problem with that. But when you go to a food bank and you get boxes of food, where do you take it to? You know? Where do you cook it? Where do you shower? Where do you go potty? God help you if you have kids, because mine were taken and adopted out. They were my everything. Akron didn't just take away my home or my chance of a reprieve so I could catch my breath so I could get back on my feet again. It took away my heart.
How old are your kids?
I have a 31-year-old, I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. Akron's supposed to be the heart of it all. I would love for Akron to show me their heart at all.
And did they take away your younger kids because you were houseless?
Because I lived in a bando. Even though I had utilities on and everything was okay, it might not have been as legal as it should have been, but they were taken care of.
Talk to me about, I know there was a lot more people here and the police came in and swept it out. Seems to me whenever there's a hope of establishing kind of a community and a structure, the police are coming in.
Yeah. Because they want to run for warrants. They want to take people to jail. They want that notch on their belt. Sage had a wonderful community going here. Everybody was getting along. Everybody was taken care of. People were getting interviews. Some were getting jobs. Some were just getting their minds back so that they could try to do that. Some of us mentally ill people here may never be able to do that. But they had a place here. and Akron couldn't stand it. We weren't pleasing to the eye of the people in the apartment building, so we had to go. We couldn't cook our food on a fire out here because they didn't like it. So the fire department came over and told us we couldn't even barbecue our foods.
And you weren't bothering them or anything.
No.
And it seems to me the budget for the police here keeps going up. It's $60 million, I believe. $4 million for public health. You mentioned all the abandoned homes that they could be making into affordable housing.
Right.
The priorities, not just here, I mean all over the country, are so twisted. Yet we're told, the news tells us the economy is coming back, and
Show me where the economy is coming back, and I'll show you a population in the homeless camps that will astound you. It's sickening. There's more people coming every day. More people that are in need of our help. And it's getting to the point where I don't know how to help them anymore. I can't even afford my own tent anymore. Sage got me a tent. It lasted 6 hours before somebody stole it from me. 6 hours.
and that's another problem. People.
They are creating hungry animals.
Yeah.
People are desperate. They're hungry. They're tired. They're dirty. It's hot. And I'll tell you, as bad as this heat is, nothing is as bad as being homeless in 2 foot of snow with nowhere to go to get warm. I know.
Have you tried the shelter system here? I know that also has major issues.
Yeah. The shelters. What to say about the shelters? If you can meet their guidelines, that's okay. You can have your mat on the floor, or whatever it is that they're trying to provide you. But most people can't do that. Most people can't. It's just almost impossible to get them to be able to do what the shelters require.
What are some of the things that they require?
A lot of people out here are on drugs. They can't give a clean screen, but they're trying. A lot of people want to go into Suboxone clinics. A lot of people want to stop the amphetamine use. But when you're on the streets, amphetamines keep you awake. And awake is about the only weapon you have against being attacked or raped or robbed. So you'll go for days awake until you can get with a group that's safe enough that you can sleep for a couple hours. And then you're back on your feet again. We have people with health issues. Their legs are swollen, blisters, infected abscesses, sores on their legs and their feet. One of my kids, not my birth kid, but one of my hood kids, he's at risk of having his leg amputated now because there's nowhere to go. And he's got to keep moving.
Any thoughts on the politicians? I know that's a vague question, but you hear a lot of slogans all the time from politicians, but it seems like their main mission is to appease the homeowners and the money.
To appease the money. Yeah. I would speak more on the politicians if I ever saw one come to see what was going on. They speak on shit that they don't know anything about. They don't know what it's like to live in a day of a homeless camp. I would have so much respect for them if they would just come and spend a weekend like we live. Just a weekend. As a matter of fact, I dare you to come and spend a weekend. Come with what you can fit in a backpack and live off that for a weekend. And tell me how that feels. And then try doing that for 5 years in the snow and the heat of the sun and under the scrutiny of the people around us that treat us like we're no better than dung on the ground that they need to wipe their feet off of.
When you, in the times that have been a little better here, can you kind of describe the community aspect?
Yes. Everybody is family. We draw together very much like the old-time gypsy camps. There's problems among some people. Not everybody's going to get along. I'm not saying that it's Fantasia. I'm just saying that as a community, I would say we were run healthier and happier than Summit County is in itself. There's barbecues, there's dancing, there's music played, there's games being played, horseshoes, there's people teaching people how to read here. There's people talking through their problems. There's relationships that shouldn't be dissolving. There's relationships that are being built here that are empowering each other to move on to better things. It was good. Sage provided us an environment where we could grow again and heal and move on. And Akron, typical Akron, hunting its homeless, took that away from all of us. When we moved and tried to make different camps, they came and took our belongings and bulldozed our tents and smiled and waved at us while they did it, as if they were proud of themselves. I lost the last things that I had of my children to a bulldozer. Thank you, Akron.
When's the last time you were able to see your kids?
7 years ago. Christopher, Abby, Sebastian were everything in the world to me and still are. And I know that one day I'll see them again. But when they took my kids from me, they took everything that made me human inside. They drained me of any hope I ever had. And to see how my husband has diminished in his pride and his health, it breaks my heart. He was not born for this. None of us were. None of us deserve this. I don't know any of us that wouldn't show up to a job if we were allowed to have it. Some of us can't even go get IDs. Some of us have warrants that prevent us from even getting IDs to go get a job. And
a lot of the jobs require an address.
Or a phone to call you back on.
What's your message to people that might be watching that are pretty hopeless themselves? They might be housed, but they are working multiple jobs. They don't think there's a lot of hope in the system changing at all. What's your message to them in terms of what you and your family out here need?
Don't lose hope. Don't give up. Try not to drop down to this level, because coming back from this is so very hard. Try to keep yourselves with family. Try to keep yourselves, maintain your home. If nothing else, maintain where you can stay inside. Know that there's some of us that really care. If you have to, rent out a room to someone. Rent out a room to one of us. We can help you keep your home. But don't give up. When you give up, you're your own worst enemy. Only you can bring you down.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.